What's going on? Please let me know if you can hear me. I want to talk about a few things tonight. ATH2, how you doing? All right, cool. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Internet's a little dicey right now. Hey, Annie. I got TH2, Kicking Bird, Annie. Good to see y'all. Anyway, hope y'all are doing well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. As good as it could be, I guess, considering the circumstances. Interesting to see the sales going on after Thanksgiving week and Black Friday. It looks like they're still heavy on inventory at my stores around me. So we'll see how cheap this stuff can get. Be a good time for people to pick up stuff if they can find it. I guess it just depends on where you're at and where you live. It's hard to say. They had cans on sale, canned goods on sale at my local China Mart for 50 cents a can. The store brand. 50 cents a can all week last week, and before that, actually, probably for 2 weeks. I'm gonna go tomorrow and see what it looks like. See what they've got going on, and I'm also going to check those clearance aisles, which I highly encourage everybody to do so as well. Because man, my stores around me are chock full of inventory. They can't get rid of it fast enough. And that's good to see. I mean, of course, it's a bad time for some people that don't have anything to buy with. Of course, hey Tamara, good to see you. So this economy hasn't affected you yet. It surely will soon. And even if it hasn't affected you, I would behave in a manner in which it if it appears that you are struggling, because you got to train yourself to tap the brakes, a little bit. And it's just getting so crazy that it's almost to a point, in my opinion, where we've completely lost all control, over the situation, at least politically. So the economy is the first thing that I'm concerned about, and just because it touches so many and affects so many, entities along the way. Everything from, unless you're in the medical field or maybe a trucker, utility technician of some kind, or first responder, there's not a whole lot of recession-proof jobs out there, and I'm really concerned that funds and finances, life savings are going to be depleted in short order, and already are in some cases, I think, depending on who you are and where you've been and where how long you've been unemployed. So, every dollar matters, Hey, Farmer Son, good to see you. And so, there's just a few areas I wanted to touch on tonight, and I know that a lot of people have probably talked about the same things, and to me, they all kind of funnel together, if you will. Hey, Shift, good to see you. And of course, the first is the economy, right? It is what it is. some people might call it the perfect storm. All these different entities coming together. The overprinting of cash, the uh, depletion of our oil reserves by design, and of course the soon to ensue due to the CBDC, which is on the top of a lot of people's mind, including my own. I don't know. I have a couple of questions regarding cash, because it sounds like they're going to implement the CBDC kind of quick and sharp. And my question is, and maybe some of y'all know or have an idea, I don't. I'm just asking the question. What is there going to be an underground, market for cash? Is cash going to be worth anything? Is it? I mean, we all know it's pretty worthless anyway, but I'm just saying, for goods and services, is there going to be, do you guys and gals think that there's going to be a market for cash after CDBC is employed and across the board? I don't know. I'm hoping there is, but I don't know. I mean, are they going to say, oh, turn in your cash? You've got, 30 days to get rid of your cash, put it in the bank, to get credit for it, or, it's obsolete or it's illegal. Hell, I don't know. I don't know how the casinos are going to work if they do that. So the economy is at the top of my mind right now. And of course, the WAR over in the UKR is also concerning extremely, especially due to the quite obvious money laundering scheme that's going on right now. And with regard to cash, I mean, that's the thing. That's the $1 million question, I guess, is if you're holding cash, what do you do with it? Do you go buy precious metals or put it at the bank or whatever entity they tell you to put it into so you can have spending power? It's interesting. I've been trying to find the answer to that on some different channels. Hey, Christina, good to see you. There's some, I've been watching quite a few channels trying to kind of get an idea from people on that. What the deal's going to be. It's interesting to see and talk about, but I really would like you guys and gals' opinions on that. Farmer Son says, yeah, cash will be around until they do away with it. I believe that, because it's an entity that they won't be able to control, and that's what they want. It's all about control. So I'm just thinking, I guess at some point, if it's going to be legal or cash is obsolete, maybe you just go buy precious metals with it. I don't know. Something to think about. And of course, the money laundering operation, money laundering operation going on in UKR right now. I mean, a lot of us called that months and months ago, and now they can't find 20 billion. They can't find it. Right. Hey, Bonnie, it's good to see you. That's right, Bonnie's. That's right. And that's a good point. But again, something to think about. Have a plan. Be ready to be flexible. I would say if you've got cash, be flexible and be ready to move quick with it, because who knows what the truth's going to be. I don't trust any of them. I can tell you that. That's one thing I do know. So economics and then the money laundering going on in the UKR is a big one to me, and boils my blood. Even though I'm not really surprised, it's still just, it is so obvious. I mean, $90 billion buys a lot of military hardware. Okay, and these ain't planes and helicopters. This is ordnance and howitzers primarily, and rockets. So you know, I would say follow the money, but I'm sure it leads back to all the entities that voted for it. I'm sure everybody gets a cut, including the big guy. So economics and the money laundering in Ukraine is concerning me, and more importantly, closer to home, of course, the border crisis and the crime wave that's you know starting to become a popular sight each and every day in areas that it wasn't not too long ago. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the shopping season goes. Number one, if people are even able to do much shopping due to the economy and their you know lighter pocketbooks, if you will. So we talk about it all the time. A lot of people do, talking about risk awareness, situational awareness, and risk management, and being able to use good. It's so true. You just gotta. You can't let your guard down for 1 second. It doesn't matter where you are, where you live, what state you're in. It doesn't really matter, and targets of opportunity is what these people look for. And of course, that kind of ties in with the border crisis and that crime, wave itself with the really serious stuff. Hey, Alan, good to see you. Ties in with all the, trafficking and fentanyl and all sorts of child abuse that can't even fathom, and so those are the big four things that I'm worried about. And those are sort of the things that, I put into a funnel, if you will, and sort of prep towards. And not in really any particular order, but, the economy, the potential conflict or wars coming closer, or us getting involved in, the crime wave, and then the border crisis. Those are the four areas that I'm really most concerned about, if you will. Now, of course, I'm concerned about a lot of them, but those are the four that I really want to pay attention to, deal with bad things that come from it. So, what do you guys, gals, think? You're all sort of thinking the same way on that I am, or do you have another four areas that you're more concerned about? I'm always interested to hear what other people think. Those are just mine, help somebody else out. Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people have lost their jobs already for months ago, and a lot of people have already been living on their preps. And thank God they were prepping. Hey, good to see you. But see, I'm one of those people that I have a rule personally that I typically won't buy the last box or bag of anything on the shelf. You know, I'm just that type of person. I'm pretty well prepped for the most part. But the other day I was at China Mart, and there was one bag of the big bag of cough drops on the shelf, and I grabbed that sucker. I'm not going to be stuck coughing and not have anything to help me out, But I typically don't do that kind of stuff. I was really depleted, and I could see my the flu season coming and this and that, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to pass this up, you know. So that's one area I think that as times get tougher, you're going to see a little bit more deliberate, um, you know, grabbing things off the shelf that are in short supply, because far thinking I still had some, but I would have been out after being sick, and I didn't want to get stuck in the flu season with no cough drops. because I think it's coming. I think that um, you wouldn't know it at China Mart necessarily, but at least the ones I go to, they're crowded all the time. Doesn't matter really what time of day you go. But I think there's going to be less and less people being able to afford to shop, on a regular basis. So their products are going to be more abundant for a while, and then of course start disappearing off the shelves either from expiration or being bought. um, Also, it's not too late. It's Cyber Monday. There's a lot of great 2A deals out there. If you're unaware, I've been chirping, telling people to. Hey, all bets are off. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Welcome in. But yeah, there's a lot of 2A deals out there still, y'all. I mean, you can get a good 9, not great, but a good 9 for less than $250 right now. And a lot of them have coupon codes. You can get it even cheaper. But okay, all right. Um, so yeah, interesting. Of course, they're trying to come after the mags too. Um, I've got a. I saw an ad for a 19 round 12 gauge magazine. It looked like a big banana SKS mag, and it was $20. And man, I have a 10, and it's heavy enough. 10 rounds in that thing is enough for me. Um, that would have been pretty cool, at least to have. I probably should have got it just to have one. 19 rounds is a lot. So with one up the pipe, that'd be 20 shots. It's almost like the old street sweeper. To the WAR and the UKR, what a crap show. I mean, all this dinero being thrown around and missing and oh my god, it's just so obvious, and you wonder how much we're gonna stand for. Of course winter's upon us, and man, some of you up in New York, like Lake, man, y'all got pounded up there. And down here we've had some, we've been down to freezing already, so it's kind of early for us, honestly. We typically don't get any cold weather, super cold weather in North Texas until end of December, January. But it started early, so I'm sure we're probably in for a rough one, if you believe what most people are saying. And so, keep stacking those propane tanks and little propane bottles. Hopefully, you've got some alternative methods to heat, your home or whatnot. And it's one of those things where you got to know what the left hand's doing. It's a shell game. You got the Taiwan shell here, the UKR over here, and then the border over here, and it's like the triple whammy, with what's going on. And what's going on in the Big C, man. That's going to be interesting to see how they quell that. It's probably going to get bloody. Of course, you're hoping that you're hoping that they can do something and take it over, but it's just going to be a bloody mess, bloodletting. Now that's cold up there. That is cold old up there now. Well, that's crazy late. But something to think about. I'm starting to see a lot more car dwellers in the parking lots too. I've noticed that the last few times I've been to the store, um, daytime and nighttime. You just here locally where I'm at. I've already seen quite a bit of that. To be honest, sad to see. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you've got to survive somehow. And of course, I live in the suburbs, but it's still sort of country. But it's steadily getting like the big city, if you will. And I would say I live in probably an above average neighborhood. It's some of these areas are well to do, if you will. Um, I'm not like that, but you kind of know when you are in a certain area what cars belong and what cars don't belong, and you can sort of pick up on that if you're paying attention. And are you talking to me, Christina? It went good. If you are, yeah, I'm still waiting to hear. I think they had some more people to talk to. Um, Thanksgiving week and then today and tomorrow maybe. So hopefully I'll hear something um, this week. I got a couple of things going there in the jobs department. We'll see what happens. But at this point in my life, I'm wanting to do things that I really, really enjoy. That's what it's about to me right now is doing things that I enjoy. And the money is important, but it's not the main thing that I look for. It's about enjoying what I do and not being miserable at work. And of course, it's fully remote too, which is what I like because I kind of like being close to the house, and especially with what's going on, I really don't want to be doing a lot of traveling. One of the positions that I applied for is going to be, involve some travel. And the other one that I'm really interested in involves very little travel, mainly remote work. And it's going to be, hopefully, I get it. We'll see. See what happens. It's the Marshmallow Man. Huh. I don't think I've met you before in here. Welcome. Of course, I haven't been doing a whole lot. I've been busy. And like I said, I've been watching other people's videos as well. Um, one thing else, another thing I wanted to talk about was tool selection. If you are getting a bug out bag together, oh, I appreciate that, all bets. I appreciate that. Um, Try to get tools that serve dual purpose, right? Like I don't know, like a hatchet, right? A hatchet, has a flat head on it on the backside usually, and you can use that as a hammer. So you don't need to carry a hatchet and a hammer. You just need to carry a hatchet. Multi tools are great. I guess the point is that whether you're creating a bag for your, or say a kit for your vehicle, or a bug out bag, try to limit your weight by uh, using dual purpose items, right? Things that have more than one purpose, or things that can be used for more than one purpose. You know, those are good ideas, I think, to lighten your load and minimize your footprint, if you will. Because if it comes to something, and you're in your vehicle and you end up having to abandon your vehicle, say you're on a trip or something, who knows? You may have to take off on foot for whatever reason. You don't want to be weighted down. That's the thing about a lot of these preppers. They see these videos or movies of a guy with a big old backpack on his back running down the shoulder of the road, and you're not going to make it Okay, I mean, these SF guys run around with 80 to 100 pounds on their back and they can barely do it. So, if you can't put it on and jog a reasonable distance with it, like a couple miles, probably too heavy, or you need to get in better shape. And so, again, I would, that's nice, farmer's son. Nice. That's a good point. You got to be able to like jog with it for short distances at least. But I would probably say as long as you can move pretty briskly for a couple of miles at a time, you're probably all right. But if you're just barely trudging along, you probably got too much weight. And remember, bug out bags to me are more of a, what do I need, not what do I want type thing. That's sort of the way I approach it. But that's just my approach. You may have a different one. And I hear you, Alan. It does. I get burned out about every 5 or 6 years. Yeah, that's true, TH. So there are some pretty aggressive roofing hammers that have that hatchet head on the back side of it. That's not a bad thing either. But for me, I just have a little hatchet with a flat head on the back of the axe head, and that does just fine. It's even got like a little nail puller on it. So I would just really try to really focus on the what do you need versus what do you want. I think if you can do that, that'll solve a lot of your overweight issues and clutter, if you will, in a go bag or a vehicle kit. Now, vehicle kit's a little different because you're in a vehicle, so you just want to try to probably consolidate as much as you can to slide under the seat, or if it's hidden in a toolbox or whatnot, you need to try to you know keep things out of plain view, if you will. I got a pretty nice lockbox for the back trunk of my SUV, and it's black. It matches the interior. I mean, unless you've got a flashlight up against the glass looking in, you're not even going to know it's there. It's below the window line. Hey, Ridge Runner, good to see you. It's below the window line, so if you're just walking by, you're not going to see it. So it fit pretty good for what I need. Something I've been looking for a long time. Hey, Mary, good to see you. You slipped in here. I didn't see you. Welcome. But I encourage you to get those vehicles loaded out, and I've talked about it before as well. It's something I have added to my vehicle loadout is a long gun, and I have elected to go with just a pump, short pump shotgun, 12 gauge as my long gun for my vehicle. It's not a real expensive one, but it will do the job. And of course, I've got a bunch of extra rounds, and that's buckshot and slugs mainly in there as well. And again, it's a lockable box in the SUV, so it's in there all the time. If I go somewhere, a trip or whatever, I typically drive, and so it's ready to go. I don't even have to think about it. And and if only time I wouldn't have it with me is if I travel by air, and typically if I travel by air, I check my handgun and have it, flown with me to wherever I'm going. Check your, be sure to check your local laws and make sure that you're not going to get any hang-ups there. I hear you. Hey, be happy. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. But again, everybody's different, right? I mean, everybody's got a method to their madness. Everybody has different needs. There's different climates, different geography. different crime, different working situations, all that. All right, see you, Lake. Thanks for stopping by. But everybody's different. Everybody has a different need, or needs. And, I try to be practical with what I do. I don't spend a whole lot of money on prepping, honestly. I've done it for so long that I've been able to sort of just stack everything as I went. Um, you know, it's just good to have stuff already in place that you know where it is and you don't even have to think about it. You're keeping it simple. And if somebody wants to break into my vehicle, they're just going to take them a little while. They're going to be busy and they're going to be making a bunch of noise. And the place that I live, I would say there's probably a good chance you're going to get caught doing what you're doing. And it's probably not going to end very well for you. That's sort of my methodology when it comes to storing stuff in my vehicle. And again, there's nothing in plain view. If you just look at, if you just walk up to the cab, you're not going to see anything out except maybe a phone charging cord, something like that. So I keep things pretty much put away just because I don't want any eye candy out there. Man, that's pretty cool. I was debating on whether or not to put an Alfa Romeo or an Alpha Kilo in mine. Um, but my thing is that I wanted dual purpose, right? I wanted to have self-defense in the form of a long gun and then also be able to hunt with it, right? And having buckshot and slugs, loaded into it and some birdshot as well, I've got the ability to do all that. And shotguns are fairly inexpensive. You can just get a um, just a subdued black shotgun. It doesn't have to be anything special. The one I've got in mind, it's got a lot of cool furniture on it. Looks pretty tactical, but there's really not a whole lot to it. It's really a cheapie, but it will do the job. And so if I lose it or if it gets burned up in a fire or whatever, stolen, I'm not too concerned about it, you know? So at this time and place in our country, I just don't want to get caught out in some sort of road rage incident or whatever, who knows, without a long gun, you know. And, something to think about too with shotguns is that it compensates a lot for, adrenaline and aiming ability, if you will. I like I like a lot of rounds. If anybody's been shooting, under pressure, like in combat or whatever, um, that it's a different animal than the range where everything is nice and fun and all that. If you're in a firefight, it's certainly not going to be like you are at a range. Okay. And so, I overcompensate for that by using a shotgun or having a shotgun with me for self-defense because I don't have to be perfect. I just got to be close. And having the heavy rounds like a slug or buckshot, ability to I've got the ability to penetrate, a engine block or a car, steel, things like that. So for me, a long gun in a vehicle makes more sense from the point of view of a shotgun. And again, that's just my personal opinion. I know other people feel differently about it, but that's one of the reasons I did choose that one to put in my vehicle. I can use it for self defense and I can hunt. Yep, yep, they're right, Mary. um, but yeah, it's interesting to see. Like I said, my four categories that I started this video with that I'm most concerned about. As the economy, the political greed going on with the war in UKR, domestic crime, and the border crisis, which sort of ties in with domestic crime. Mm-hmm. And Caltex are nice, Annie. I mean, I shot them. They're a little pricey, I think, from my point of view. I wouldn't buy something like that and leave it in the vehicle. That's just my personal. If I was going to have something for my vehicle and leave it in there all the time, I probably would get something a little bit more economical. But again, that's just my opinion. Everybody's got to make their own decisions. Yeah, it is true. The 5G stuff is scary, and then of course the TikTok. That whole thing's a mess. And a lot of us, fell for it. I didn't fall for it. I was listening to the warnings early on. I know a lot of people have fallen for it. Hopefully, they can get rid of it. Well, Mary, around us, it's always kind of been that way. So, I mean, I can't say there's more because it's just so prevalent here, in my area. I mean, you can go to the corner, stores and whatnot. There's always a group looking for work, but that's been going on here for years. And they just kind of gather up around certain spots in town. And, if you want weeds pulled or, I don't know, something moved or whatnot, you can just swing by and grab them. But yeah, I would say, from a optics point of view, from my personal, it's always been, but I know I know there's a lot more. It is, and I think all you can do, Annie, is just keep prepping, and stacking it deep. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are already having to go into their preps to survive. All right, Shiv, thanks for showing up. Good to see you. I heard about that, farmer son. Hey, good to see you, Bill. Another thing to think about too is all this. Hey, B Charming, good to see you. A lot of this ESG stuff. People are going to bend the knee on that too. It's funny about those guys on the corner that work like that. There's typically a handler, that sort of controls all that. In my experience, it's kind of like a pimp almost. Hey, Steel Roz, good to see you. Tractor Supply, be charming. I think that's Tractor Supply is what he's talking about. Tractor Supply Corporation or company. But Alaska Prepper was talking about Tractor Supply and how they're trying to conform with ESG and all that. This is crazy, man. So, I think, what I'll probably do is for here for a little while, until it gets completely full of stupidity. Uh, I'm going to endure it for a while, but if it gets too stupid, I'm heading to the ranch. And I'll be off grid and you can forget about it. I mean, Tractor Supply is one of those stores. It's kind of like a Ace Hardware. Um, Sometimes you can just find exactly what you need in those stores. It's amazing sometimes. A lot of us get trained to go to the big box stores, the Home Depots, the Lowe's, and whatnot. But sometimes you can go right into those little stores like that and find exactly the tool you're looking for or part. Pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. It's a total bend the knee. It's a total way of controlling commerce and who's allowed to do this and who's allowed to do that based on your score. Yeah. Yeah, Tractor Supply is doing some stuff. Hey, Mountain Grandma, good to see you. Good job, Annie. Get it done. Get it done. Yes, B, it is. And that happened. I think there was a couple of places that it happened, but the main one that I heard about was a town called Denton. Denton is north of Dallas, between Dallas and Fort Worth on the north side, and it's always been a liberal leaning town, just because there's two universities there mainly that are quite left leaning. It's kind of hard to believe that. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Farmer son. I know, right? It's quite embarrassing. But these are all happening in mainly liberal run towns. So you got to remember all the big cities in Texas. All the big cities are liberal ran. That's where they're all at. It's just the rural people that keep Texas red. It's got nothing to do with the big cities. If the rural people didn't come out and vote, Texas would be blue. That's a fact. I hear you, Mary. Oh yeah, no, make no mistake about it. That's the thing, is that a lot of these schools, these urban area schools, have had a chokehold on the public education system for decades now. And now these people all vote. And so they've been at it a while. And then every year we get a new crop of voters, right? And look what they've been taught. Look how they've been conditioned. I mean, I saw a video the other day of a classroom. They were playing the national anthem over the loudspeaker, and more than half the class was sitting down in their chairs, not even standing up for it. Sickening. And so, it's not it's not uh, it's not popular to you know stand up for something at school anymore. You're actually looked down upon by the student body. And it's just amazing how clueless most of these parents are. All they care about is their Wi-Fi, you their ravioli, their ramen, and their weed. There's a lot of really low standards when it comes to people that have kids. Oh, there's one. Get them. you know, they've got really, really low expectations and really low low standards when it comes to them and their children. And it shows because these kids are taught, right? They're taught how to behave, and it's learned behavior, if you will. And it's just sad, you know. You got kids, parents with low expectations, other than complaining about everything around them, and then you've got kids that think that's the proper way to behave, and it's going to be a price to be paid for it, and we're already seeing some of that price. Sad, very, very sad. And even if it's just trying to teach a kid to stay off of the Wi-Fi for a couple of hours, it's like a major accomplishment. It seems like, you know, they got to get off the box, and start getting some fresh air and learn how to fish and maybe how to gather firewood. There's a lot of things children can learn to do to be helpful in a SHTF situation. Because, like I've said before, I don't care, unless you're a toddler, you know, everybody's got a job to do during SHTF. If you're bunkered in and you're hunkering down, and you got to sleep sometime. Little kids make pretty good lookouts. If they can keep peering through the blinds and see what's going on out there. They're pretty good reporters if you can teach them how to do it. Like I said, everybody's got a job to do during SHTF. And I don't care who you are. You might be a cook, you might be a lookout, you might be a dishwasher, you might be a laundry person. So get them involved. You got to practice this stuff ahead of time. We got a grandson, and I teach him how to. That's a good one too, farmer son. I like that. If they're strong enough, you know. Hey, thanks, Carson. Appreciate it. Another thing too is like my grandson. He's got 3 hiding places in this house. You know, and I'll tell him every once in a while. I'll just say, go to hiding place 2, and he knows to go there. He knows where it is, and he knows to stay there until he's somebody is coming to get him or calls out for him, and one of us. So you got to make it fun. You don't have to freak them out, but it's all about repetition and training and practice, right? Give them jobs to do, give them chores, but have it fun and let them earn a reward for it. I think if you can do that kind of stuff, uh, it'll make it interesting for them. But you might have to force them the first time, but I think once they understand they're a part of the tribe, you know, they might be encouraged to get out during the actual event, or anybody for that matter. Hell, adults need training too. But I can put a kid in the front office and just have them look through one of the blinds and see what's going on out there. Hey, off the wall. Good to see you. All right. But yeah, everybody's got a job to do in SHTF. Every damn person. If they're eating a meal, you know, they need to be put to work. That's the way I look at it. If you're going to consume, if you're going to consume and, live in the box, you got a job to do. Look at it. It's very true. Very true. Very, very true. Hey, good to see you, Pete. But yeah, it's for real, man. It's like part of me wishes I lived in the country, and that's where I'm most comfortable, if you will. But nevertheless, I'm in a situation where I'm in the suburbs, and but I have the I have a ranch out in West Texas, a little ranch. You know, it's nice to have that option. But the $1 million question is, are you going to be able to leave at the right time to get there if it comes to that? My personal and opinion and preference is to ride anything out in my castle, if you will, because that's been prepared for that. So, you know, I'm not, uh, you know, if I have to leave this place, it's probably going to be too late to come back to it if something goes down, you know, and that's a really tough decision to make because, like I said, if it's bad enough for you to leave and you do, your place is probably not going to be there when you get back, or if you ever try to even come back. So, if it gets bad enough where I have to do that, that's a pretty drastic choice for me personally. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'm just saying that if it comes to that, it's real. It's a very, very, it's a decision with consequences, right? And I'll tell you something else that I've done is that I have. Hey, TJ, good to see you. Another thing that I've done with the little ranch is I and other family members have sort of fortified those buildings that we have out there to where uh, I can be anywhere and any have to go home to get anything. You know, I can go straight there, and I would encourage people to do that same setup. I could be in a pair of flip flops and shorts, driving to wherever or be out of town or coming back from a trip. Something goes down, I can just make a detour, go straight to the ranch. It's not a big deal, and that's the way I've set it up. You know, and it's not completely off grid, but it's close. It's partially off grid, capable, if you will. And of course, we've got probably 700 acres of nothing but mesquite trees, so we'll never run out of wood. But I know this stuff is probably uh, you know not foreign to any of you guys and gals. I was just sort of wanting to mention my 4 areas that I'm sort of prepping off of, and seeing if that was the same for you guys and gals. That's all right, little boots. But like I said, the economy, the war, the crime wave, and the border crisis is the 4 things that I'm really concerned about. And that's sort of where I'm throwing all my um, preps, my efforts for preps towards, if you will. And the ER. Sorry if I missed anybody coming in, but you know, again, everybody has the method to their own madness. Everybody has a different set of circumstances. Everybody, hey, Dragonflies, good to see you. Everybody has a, you know, different climate, different terrains, etc., and it's all different. So I encourage people to watch a lot of different channels and get different viewpoints. And again, if you pick up one thing that's helpful to you, great, you know. And it is nice to be able to have things around where, you don't have to run to the store. You don't have to sling it out with the animals, fighting over toilet paper. Like, you've already done the work and you've already set yourself up to ride those things out. But having skills is popular, canning, that's a skill that I've fallen down on for sure. I don't have a problem admitting it. It's an area that I wish I had done a little bit, gotten a little bit more training on. I could probably get by and do something that, like, other than meat, and probably do okay. But you know, I don't think I trust myself to can meat at this point. But that's just my personal, I keep things real, and that's another thing too is that, in prepping, you know, again, everybody's got a method to their madness and has different needs. Some people are special needs. Some people have kids that are special needs, so their situation is totally different. And it's just one of those things where you got to dial in your needs and build your response to uh, to those circumstances, right? I mean, if you're special, you have somebody that's special needs in your group or your family, you know, or handicapped in some form or fashion, their ability to move is very limited, probably. So, your circumstances are completely different than somebody that may not be handicapped. So it's just something you have to, think about. But be realistic. Go through things in your head. That's what I do almost all the time. Is I think of, okay, if this happens and I'm here, what am I going to do? So I just go through these scenarios all the time in my head. So you know, I've got a good idea of what my capabilities are, but I also know what I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that they don't know what they don't know. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not losing you there. But it's important, like, to me personally, and I've said it before. I love to shoot, and I'm a fairly reliable shooter, but I know that I don't shoot enough, and I know that I need to spend more time on the range shooting. You know, getting better trained as a marksman. I know that, but at least I know. There's a lot of people out there that don't know what they need, or don't know what they don't know. And to me, that's what makes them dangerous and living under, false pretenses, because it's just a matter of time. Somebody will expose you. So there's no shame in the game of not knowing something. If you don't know something, ask for help or research it and get better at it. That's the thing. We're not always, we don't come out of the womb ready to go. We have to learn things, you know. Hey, come on, a girl, good to see you. But it's important that we're honest with ourselves. And you got that right. Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's going to be, if it really goes to blows, I think it's going to be some really, um, really dicey times for a lot of people. And what do I have? Oh, yeah, I do have that. I've got the, oh, hell. It's going, it's lost my mind. I've totally forgot the brand of it. Spot X is what it is. It's called a Spot X. It's just text and email. It's called a Spot X. I got videos on it. Yeah, Spot X. That's right. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's like $10 a month, but it's good for trips and stuff. You go up in the mountains and you don't have any cell service at all. You whip that thing out and get a signal and shoot an email or a text to somebody. Pretty cool. It's cool if you in a place where you need it. That's the thing. Cool. It's good if you are in the jam and you need it. Yeah, that's right. We did show that. Yeah, it'd probably be good for you, Pete. Being what you go all over that dead zone area out there between Colorado and the Panhandle. So yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with mine off the wall for sure. I need to pull it out and probably do an update on it. It's been a while since I had it out. But you can get weather reports on it or weather alerts. It's a pretty good unit. But back to the vehicle thing and the loading that thing out. I really encourage people to have that long gun capability in their vehicle. And it's better to have than not have, and it's better to um, have peace of mind and know that you're covered and you've done all you can do. Because I don't know about you guys and gals, but I really try to limit my flying because I want to be in control of my destiny, so to speak. Want to be I want to have as much control over my situation as possible. And so I just don't, I really don't try to fly very often unless I don't have a choice. I'll drive 7, 8 hours if I have to. It's not a big deal to me. I'd rather have the peace of mind. So, you know, I don't drive the 7, 8 hours is not a big deal to me. So ain't that the truth, Carson? Man, man, telling you, those folks have their stuff together, lived through hard times, and I hope a lot of people wrote that stuff down because it may come in handy once again. And of course, the whole impending rail strike thing, like a lot of people have talked about, including off the wall, and it's a real deal. And I'm telling you, if that thing goes through, go to the store and buy as much as you can hold, as much as you can afford. And if it comes down to it and it goes through, I think you're going to have maybe 1 to 2 weeks of stuff on the shelves, and it's going to be hit and miss after that. So I would just be ready. Maybe save your money, or at least have some in reserve. And if this thing hits, you got to go to the store, buy those staples because you're going to need them. I don't know that it'll even be 2 weeks. That's probably going to be a week. Get your stuff. I think they said they need. I think they said. Yeah, it is weird, dragonflies. And I think they said if they had a full blown rail strike, about 3 days before the actual strike, they start parking the trains. So I think when they get down to like 72 hours from the deadline, I think they start parking trains, especially the chemicals. So, if you've got a swimming pool or you need chlorine or anything like that for your pool or any other type of, chemicals for your business or whatever that you typically get shipped by rail, you probably need to go ahead and get that stuff just to be safe. And, because the chemicals, okay, so, oh, wow, okay, so they're already starting to do the chemicals. I get it. Hey, Cherie, good to see you. So, anyway, they're, chlorine and coal is the most, well, coal fuels the power plants. So, just be aware, people. Hey, CJ. Like the potato flakes? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And, we talked about this earlier before a lot of you came in here when we were talking about, cash and CBDC actually gets implemented. Are they going to, and it's just a rhetorical question, do people think that they're just going to basically make cash uh, are they going to outlaw cash, or are they going to make it illegal to own cash? What are they going to do? Are they going to give you like 30 days to get into the bank? I mean, it's a lot of questions out there that I think people need to have answered. Hmm. Interesting, Cherie. Yeah, I would. I think people need to probably, I mean, if I was going to give my best advice and, take it or leave it, I'm not an expert, but I would maybe start going ahead and making myself a list of the things that you are short on that you think might be affected by the rail strike, and have that list ready to go. Maybe start topping it off. So what I was going to say a minute ago is that I think I read an article where it's going to, if they were to try to make up for the rail strike volume with trucks, it would take like a 500,000 trucks, 500,000 18-wheelers just to try to keep up with what the rail system would, not be hauling. Yeah, that's another one. That's another issue. I mean, crap. You pull it. I guess you got to go with your gut. Talk to your CPA. But yeah, it's not looking good. And of course, um, none of this should be surprising to any of us. And yeah, I'm right there thinking about doing the same thing. I think I may wait till the first of the year though, just due to other things. Yeah, Carson, it's a real deal. People don't think about it because you just don't see, you don't see it. But I think the biggest thing that's going to hurt, food is one thing, but you see those big coal trains coming out of Nebraska and Dakotas and all that is, coal. Coal is the real deal there, people. You shut the coal trains down, which is would probably make the liberals jump for joy, you know. Yeah, that's true off the wall. Yep. Yep. Coal is the power plants, people. That's what it's. That's you see all these coal trains running up down the, next to the interstates and whatnot. That's for the power plants. Oh yeah. Well, Tamara, it sucks, but some people just have to be victims before they learn. You got that right, Pete. Yeah, right. What a joke. But yeah, it's just everything about your country is completely different than it was 10 years ago, or really even probably 5, 6 years ago. And I would, again, in closing, make those lists. Uh, think about what's really important. Think about need versus want, and get it done. And one thing the government needs us to be is dependent on them. And I'm checking out. If it goes that way and it doesn't turn around pretty soon, I'm going to check out the other way. And I'm not going to be part of their, you know, shenanigans, if you will. I'll go to the woods or go to the desert. And if they want to come out there, they can. But, you know, wouldn't really advise that. Yeah, really. And maybe, like I said, if it comes to that and I've got to evacuate, I'm doing it because I really don't have much choice, and I'm willing to let this place go. And then that sucks, but it is what it is. You know, I've still got a good bit of life left in me, and I've got people to teach stuff to. So you know, and it's like this red wave thing. I never was buying off on that anyway, and I'm not sure if we just didn't get lucky on this thing. Because the stuff that they're doing is so detrimental to freedom that you can say to yourself, how can anybody vote for this? Right? But again, you've got to think, okay, these people have been conditioned in the public school system for decades now, and they've got a chokehold on the curriculum, if you will. And so they've had, you know, systemic conditioning going on with these kids for decades. And now they all vote. So it's something to think about, you know. We may have already lost it. No. Again, man, grandma, I agree. And they know the blueprint. They've got the blueprint down. And all they gotta have is mail-in voting, play games with counting the votes, and they can control it. That's right. Birds of a feather flock together. You got that right, dragonflies. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We've got to pay penance for our country's sins of the past. Well, I'm not going to be really doing much of that. So if I have to head out west, I guess I will. You know, it's. I've been working on it for a long time, and I've set it up in a way that I can do that if it comes to it. So again, I like the option to be able to go out there and you know live if I had to, but it wouldn't be so bad because I've spent a lot of time out there and I've prepared it for that exactly. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what party they're with. I mean, the thing about our system is that it was never our system of government was never designed to be full time. The presidency, yeah, but the Congress and Senate was all supposed to be part time. You went and did your business, kind of like at the state level. You went and did your business, and then you went home and did your job and worked or farmed or whatever the case may be. And they found out a way to get rich on it, and so here we are. I don't trust any of them. That's pretty damn sad to say about your own government. Yep, you're right about that. They want us to pay reparations for a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, they know how to get the votes if they need them. That's true off the wall. And you know what? During Desert Storm and all that, as soon as that was over, I sort of started looking at things a little bit differently. I was a pretty young man back then, and I started to kind of wake up after that war, and it gave me a new perspective. And I started to kind of see the light, see through the fog, if you will. And it was a good thing for me to see because it's changed the way that I view politicians and all that. And so it was disappointing to say the least because of the amount of blood and treasure that was spilled over there. But like most politicians will tell you, uh, it was a risk they were willing to take. Good night, teach too. I'm about to wrap it up anyway. I hear you off the wall. I hear you, man. And it's the same old thing that it's just not our country just isn't. We've always had dirty politicians. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of them now, I think, is twofold. And I hate to say it like this, but I think there's more bad than good. There's more corrupt than straight. And they have just figured out a way to make a living at this and get rich. And this money laundering operation going on in Ukraine, um, this really, really makes my blood boil. But I'm not surprised, but it still makes my blood boil. Food delivery, that's funny. You know what food delivery is out at the ranch? A big whitetail walking by. That's your food delivery. They are, farmer son. You either bend the knee or you're part of the problem. It's a good question on a mission. People better learn how to hunt and fish and trap because, I call it God's grocery store. There's a lot of stuff on this earth that's available to us if we learn how to do it ethically and properly. Yeah. Good thing about it too for us, um, at least we have firearms. Poor Chinese are doing it with fencing and sticks, bricks. All right, Pete. See you, man. But anyway, I think I'll probably wrap this thing up. I've been on a good while here, approaching an hour and a half. But I just hope that everybody is doing the things that make sense for them. And again, make yourself a list. Sometimes it's easier just to compartmentalize everything and put it on paper, and that way you don't miss anything. And you can prioritize it. Put a number by it. This is number one. This is my most critical thing I need. Go get it. You know, or at least have a list prepared, in advance. So that way you don't get sidetracked. Because I think a lot of people, they go to the store without a list and they just go crazy. They don't even come out with the things they had intended to buy. So anyway, everybody, I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate y'all showing up. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate all the interaction, and I'll try to do more of these as we go along here. And everybody take care and don't be a stranger. Please stay in touch and keep it together. Keep stacking it deep, and long live the Republic. Y'all have a nice night.